What's up, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome back to a brand new deck profile, bringing you guys an updated pure Crusadia deck profile. The last time I did Crusadia was with Guard Dragon, but kind of wanted to go back to the original, and I haven't updated an original Crusadia deck like the pure Crusadia deck profile since I think last year. There's actually been a ton of changes made to this deck, just like from builds I've seen from around the community. The deck I thought was going to look pretty much the same as it did in the past, but I was wrong, and I'm glad I'm wrong because the deck was kind of linear, but there's a lot more plays that can be made. Does it still heavily rely on going second and OTKing? Yes, but there's definitely some new cool plays that can be made in this deck. Before we get started, a quick reminder to check out Imperium Duelist down in the description below. You can use that discount code to save 10% off all your orders in the future, the entire order. If you want to pick up any mats or sleeves or dice, you name it, feel free to check them out and down in the description below. But now we'll get started with the monsters. To start, we got Triple Crusadia Maximus. All of the Crusadia monsters have the same effect, and that is that they can special summon themselves from the hand to his own a link monster points to. Maximus allows us to target a Crusadia monster, and that monster, when it does battle damage, will deal double battle damage. So this is the key card when going for the OTK. Next is 3 copies of Crusadia Draco. Same summoning mechanic, but this one allows you to add back a Crusadia monster from your graveyard to your hand when it is special summoned to his own Crusadia link monster points to. Level 4 dragon, you may have seen it before in Guard Dragon combos. Next, we've got 3 Crusadia Arborea. This one is a tuner, which is very, very helpful to make some synchro plays. This one says, basically, if a Crusadia card you control be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard instead. So it sort of acts like a pseudo Return of the Dragon Lords, but can also be used from the field. Next, we have 2 copies of Crusadia Leonis. This one allows us to target a Crusadia link monster, and it does piercing damage that turn. And then lastly, for Crusadia monsters, 2 copies of Crusadia Reclusia. This one allows us, on either normal or special summon of his own to his own a link monster points to. We can target a Crusadia card we control and a card our opponent controls and destroy both of them. So very, very strong card for spot removal and just for general link fodder as well. Then One World Legacy World Crown. It's summonable off of Ib, which we are playing in the extra deck. It's also got the same summoning mechanic as a lot of the Crusadia monsters do, and that is to special summon it from your hand to his own a link monster points to. So a pretty good extender, and can also quick effect negate the effect of an opponent's extra deck monster. So very, very strong card there. And then 1 Rocket Synchron. This is a idea I've seen a couple other people use for this deck just because of Ib. It's such a strong card to get into, and I originally thought this deck could synchro into Ib with just using Arborea and any level 3 Crusadia, but I was wrong because that's level 6 and Arborea or Ib is a level 5. That'd be 6 levels with the 2 level 3s, but Ib's a 5. So using Rocket Synchron and another quick play spell that we're playing later will allow us to actually get into that card a lot easier. And trust me, once we get into that card, it makes for some really good solid boards, especially if we're going first. It does help for some better going first boards. So playing the one of Rocket Synchron as a summonable target off of the quick launch spell we're playing later, it's just a really good card to have. Then we have 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Definitely want to stop our opponent's plays so we can OTK them easier. So 3 copies of Ash. A quick Kaiju lineup consisting of 2 Gamma Steel, 1 Kamungus, and 1 Jizukiro. You could play higher attack Kaijus if you want. I just always feel safer playing lower attack Kaijus. Arguably, like, you could play Dogeron, Thunder King, Sticky String, or not Sticky String Kaiju, but Godarla, Radian. You could play a ton of the higher attack Kaijus, but I think this lineup is fine, consisting of these 4 Kaijus, in my personal opinion. And that is it for the main deck monsters. We'll go into the spells now. To start, we have 3 copies of Called by the Grave. Just an all-around good card. There's really no need to explain. Stopping hand traps is nice. Then 3 copies of Quick Launch. I don't have this card at the moment. We'll be ordering it soon, but this is such a vital card for the deck, and I didn't even realize it at the time when I was building this deck. But it allows us to basically special summon a rocket monster from our deck, but it cannot attack. We also have to destroy it during the end phase, but that's not going to apply too much because we're going to be using it to synchro into Ib, the World Challenge Justiciar, and our only target for this is that rocket synchron we saw earlier, which is in here somewhere. Yeah, this card. So that's our main summon target off of this, to be able to basically go into Ib with any level 4 Crusadia, either Maximus or Draco. Since those monsters are searchable, shouldn't be too big of a problem. Then we have 2 copies of Twin Twister for back row removal, 2 copies of Interrupted Kaiju Slumber for going second, just to completely wipe the board and leave them with a Kaiju, ideally lined up with the extra monster zone for our Equamax play. Then a new card here, 2 copies of Crusadia Testament. This just came out in Dark Neostorm. It's a quick play that allows us to either do one of 2 things. The first one being your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of our Crusadia monsters effects this turn. So it makes all of our Crusadia monsters effects spell speed 4, which is incredible. It's just absolutely busted. It just shuts down all your opponent's hand traps for the entire turn. And the other effect is after damage calculation, if your Crusadia Link monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, draw cards equal to your monster's Link rating. So if you destroy something with Equamax, you draw 3. If you destroy something with Avermax, you get to draw 4. So it's a very solid card. Still playing the 1 of Crusadia Power because Testament is good, but it doesn't fully replace Power. Power is very nice in the fact that it is a quick play and we can target a Crusadia monster we control, and that Crusadia monster is unaffected by card effects period this turn except for its own. So this is really good for stopping monster effects and on effect activation, but this pretty much stops everything, just making it completely unaffected right then and there. Then we have 1 copy of Crusadia Revival. This allows our Crusadia monsters to gain 500 attack, all Crusadia Link monsters that is, to gain 500 attack, and we can target a Crusadia Link monster and it can attack all monsters our opponent controls once each, but allows us to our other monsters can attack the turn we activate that effect. So this is just basically going for game part 2. Very, very strong card. Then we have 1 World Legacy Secession. We can search this off of the trap that we're playing, and we can also search this off of Ib, which is nice. 1 Hornet Drone. This is a card I just couldn't give up in here. I'm also dedicating 2 slots in the extra deck just because how good this card is. And also one reason why I would suggest a Sky Striker engine in this deck. 3 copies of Engage, maybe 1 Eagle Booster, and 1 Hornet Drones. Just a really solid engine in here. I don't have Engages at the moment. I could proxy them, yes, but they're not 100% necessary. But it is a good engine, and since it's getting reprinted, I will probably be playing it in here in the future. Yeah, so that's it for the spells. Now we'll go into the traps, consisting of 3 Infinite Impermanence, just more stopping power, never hurts, and then 1 Crusadia Crawler. Good card that we can search off of Regulex for turn 1. Basically a trap that we can summon, and then if it is summoned to a zone a Crusadia Link monster points to, or just any zone a Link monster points to, we can add a World Legacy card from our deck to our hand, which is pretty nice. So it allows us to either search World Crown or Succession. So very, very good card there. Also a newer card as well. I think it came out in Soul Fusion, so not that new. Never mind. New to me, I guess. Now we'll go into the extra deck. 3 copies of Crusadia Magus. Just searches a monster when something is summoned to a zone it points to. All you need to make it is 1 Crusadia monster except itself. 2 copies of Regulex. One thing to mention is that all Crusadia Link monsters gain attack to equal to whatever they point to. So this may only have 100 attack, but if you summon something to a zone it points to, it could go up to 1600 or 1700 or 2000. They just get really beefy really, really fast. Regulex allows us to search a Crusadia spell or trap anytime something is summoned to a zone it points to. Very, very helpful. 2 Equamax, or no, not Equamax. First, hold on, we got to do Spatha first. 1 Spatha. This basically, anytime something is summoned to a zone it points to, we can move a card in the main monster zone to another main monster zone. And that's on either side of the field, so we can line something up with our extra monster zone or our Equamax to gain the most attack that it can. Equamax is probably the best, when going for a game. Basically, it gains attack equal to the combined original attack of all monsters this card points to, and then it also has the quick effect. You contribute a Crusadia or World Legacy monster this card points to, then target a face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. So this does provide some interruption for your opponent. And then lastly, 1 Avermax. since this actually is a Crusadia Link monster, so good to finally have a Link for this deck, and it's a pretty solid one at best. Then 1 Hayate and 1 Kagari. Reason why I'm doing this is because when you go into, let's say you open any Crusadia monster and Hornet Drones, you can link the Crusadia monster into Magus, Hornet Drones, the token, into Kagari, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, so you can Chainlink block there, add back the Hornet Drone, link these into Regulex, and then play the Hornet Drone again to link into Hayate, and that'll trigger this. You don't get to Chainlink block here, unfortunately, but this can sort of be a tool for later to attack directly if you don't get to use it at that certain point, if you don't need to. But basically it just allows you to get that search there, and then you can link these two into your Equamax and just go from there. So basically 1 Hornet Drone and 1 Crusadia monster gets you basically, you know, to this for free without having to use any of the other Crusadia cards in your hand. So very, very solid and definitely worth it in my opinion for this particular deck. And then we have 1 Nightmare Phoenix for that back row removal if we need it. 1 Ib, the World Chalice Justiciar, 1 F8 Dragster, and 1 Borreload Savage Dragon, because for the most part, once we make Ib, we're going to synchro Ib with any level 3 Crusadia into the Savage Dragon. Savage Dragon can get us a link too, so that'll put 2 counters on it at a minimum, and then we can use Ib to summon out World Crown, so that'll get us a negation as well. So yeah, pretty solid lineup, and the Dawn Dragster can be made pretty easily in this deck as well without you know, the quick launch and stuff. You don't have to play the quick launch, but I think it's pretty good just to be able to go into the Ib, because it's like, I've done some test hands and testing with this deck on my own, and it's so good every time you get to go into it when you see that card. It's just really solid. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this deck profile, updated Crusadia deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll probably be updating again in the future, actually, once the Sky Striker stuff gets reprinted, and do some more testing with the deck as well. But like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. Check out Imperium Duelist down in the description below. Join Discord too if you haven't already. As always, guys, Winter Kills signing out. We'll see you in the next one.